video, I will be giving more examples about the proportions on the side of special right triangles, which is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So in here, we have here a triangle XYZ, and there are given values in the sides of this 30, 60, 90 triangle. As you can see, the opposite of 60 is x, and the opposite of z is 6. We can actually solve that by the given proportion as mentioned in the previous video, that and the opposite of 60 is a squared of 3, then opposite of z is 2a, and the opposite of 30 degrees is simply a. So with that, we will be able to solve for the unknown by this given information about the proportion of this 30, 60, 90 triangle. And I would like to emphasize that in this 2a is equal to 6, by manipulating this equation, we will be able to identify that a is equal to 3. So by dividing both sides by 2, we'll be able to cancel out 2 on the left side so that we could isolate a. And then 6 divided by 2 will be 3. So in here, we'll be able to solve that a is equal to 3. And it will follow that if we are going to solve for x is equal to, simply by substitution, 3 square root of 3. We now have the different values on the side of this 30, 60, 90 triangle. So the opposite of 60 is 3 square root of 3. The hypotenuse measures 6, that is already given. And on the shortest side, which is the opposite of 30 degrees, is 3. Alright. Again, for example, I want to identify the missing part. For instance, I want to identify the missing value of the other sides given that the opposite of 30 is square root of 2. I will be able to identify that if I am aware that the opposite of 30 is a. Therefore, we could say that a, since that is already given, a is square root of 2. And z has an opposite, which is the hypotenuse, and with a proportion that is equal to 2a. Therefore, if that is 2a, we just simply need to substitute the square root of 2 into that so that we will be able to identify that 2 times the square root of 2 is simply 2 square root of 2, because we cannot combine a rational number with an irrational. And then for the last part, we know that the opposite of 60 is a square root of 3. Therefore, we are going to substitute the square root of 2 in there. Since a is equal to square root of 2, that is square root of 2 times square root of 3. So 2 times 3 will be equal to 6. Therefore, our value for the opposite of 60 degrees is square root of 6. Okay, let's have another example. Here we have triangle ABC with the opposite of 60 is equal to 8. Then we need to identify the missing sides of this triangle. To do that, we'll be using the proportion for the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So on the opposite of 30 degrees, that is A. Opposite of the 90 degrees is 2A. And on the opposite of the 60 degrees is A square root of 3. Now, this is much challenging because we'll be dividing an irrational number. So to do that, let us show that by the use of a solution. So we have here the equation 8 is equal to A square root of 3. And we want to isolate A so that we'll be able to identify the value of that. So we need to divide both sides by square root of 3. So this will cancel out. And then the value of A will be 8 all over square root of 3. Now we can switch the position of these two expressions so that it will be easier for us to identify the parts of the unknown. So in here, A is equal to 8 all over square root of 3, and by rationalizing the denominator, we'll be multiplying square root of 3 over square root of 3 so that on the value of A, we'll be able to identify that 8 square root of 3 all over 3. So that is the value of A. So value of A is 8 square root of 3 all over 3. And then for the value of 2A, let us solve that. Since A is 8 square root of 3 all over 3 by multiplication, we'll be able to identify that 2 times 8 is 16. So that is 16 square root of 3 all over 3. So there you go. Our final answer for the length of the hypotenuse is 16 square root of 3 all over 3. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Given the proportion of the 30-60-90 triangle, we'll be able to identify the missing measure of the side of this special right triangles if we are given at least a length of one side of it. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next videos.